love starting.
Texting.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I was going Italian. You changed it to Spanish.
Sorry. We're in America. That's why I did that. Spanish is number 2 language.
That's true. That's
true.
Why
I did
and
that.
soon to be number 1, most likely.
The way it's going.
Yeah. But once you hear me go 1, 2,
I didn't hear that.
now we're going Genzo.
Well, we were hanging out with Yoda. Come on, my hearing's not exactly.
It's all good. It's all good.
Anyway, hey, how are you? It is a my whistle Wednesday here in the Mid-Sac. Little frigid tight, little cold. That is the redoubtable one, Tom Izzo, the highly questionable one. IDD, for those of you in the know, I don't disagree, for those of you just discovering, splitting the atom. The highly questionable one, RJ Migliaccio, segment 1 on midweek. The sports world got thrown a curveball today. So,
little 10-6? 12-6?
Little one of those, yeah. As you can see, it is not football season, but I'm decked out in Patriot attire. And if you'll notice on our little mini football field here, there are 2 different helmets tonight. The greatest of all time has finally walked away. He did it very quick, no one knew when this was happening.
Hit that, sir.
And that's better. And he broke the story himself from a beach. You know what? Talk about goat life. From a beach with flowing seagrass, several beach grass in the background, condos behind him. Who knows where he was? But that was about as real as it gets today. And what I loved about what he did was that it was spontaneous. Not spontaneous, but he didn't tell him. But he wanted to be the first one to tell the world. He didn't want any and I love that about him. He didn't want any mixed messages. He wasn't screwing around. And he got up there. It was a 3-minute goodbye.
No, it wasn't. It was shorter than that, I think.
I think
it was quicker.
Well, anyway, he thanked everyone, competitors, teammates, family, friends. He kept it brief. He poked fun at himself, going, "Look, you only get one long goodbye send off," and I blew that last year.
I like that.
I love that he did that because but that's who he is. And at the end of the day, from the day he first put on that uniform in Foxborough to this morning on that beach, he remained true to himself, and that was the biggest thing that I heard today from everyone.
53 seconds.
53 seconds. Talk about the anti-Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
Talk about getting in and getting out.
He didn't want to drag it out.
Well, I mean, he dragged his career out long enough. He's winning championships till he was 48.
That asshole. Anyway. So we are going to devote the bulk of this to the GOAT tonight. We obviously will talk basketball too. Hey, for those of you wearing green, the Boston Celtics decided to show up tonight. And when I mean they showed up, they showed up in all 3 phases of the game. I haven't seen this kind of performance since Christmas Day against the Bucks. And the weird thing about it, maybe it was that they had 3 days off and they were rested. I don't know. But tonight they talk about putting the smack. Talk about a bum blasting. It was 139 to 96. And I don't know if it was that close.
I turned it on. It was 33-7, and I was like, whoa. And it was the first quarter.
They were good. They were doing everything I scream at them about for not doing. They were going to the basket, making extra pass. On defense, they weren't letting guys face cut. They weren't getting burned back door. They were boxing out. They contested every shot, and it manifested into offense. They got to the paint. It was dish, alley-oop, dunk. I think the timeout had 10 points in the first quarter, and it was just from lobs and dunks and backdoors. That was the best offensive quarter I've seen them have all season. 46 points, and it was the second highest scoring total in the first quarter for the season. I think it's 5th all time. 46 points. That's how good they were in the first quarter. Now,
5th all time.
5th all time.
Wow.
The number 1 actually came earlier this year when Charlotte scored 51. I forget in the first quarter of a game this year. That set the NBA record. The Celtics were
51.
51 in the first quarter.
That used to be a halftime score.
Used to be.
In the 80s. Or in the 90s?
No, the 80s, you've seen the Denver Nuggets in the 80s. Their offense was a lot like Golden State. They just didn't guard anybody.
I meant 90s.
The 90s was the Donnybrook phase.
The Knicks used to win games scoring 82 points.
84 to 82.
Right, 86 to 82.
91 89. That was a good one. 91 to 89.
Somebody was over 100 and be like, so-and-so put up a 107.
Someone didn't play defense for the Knicks tonight. Anyway, the Celtics put it all together in the first quarter. And what I love about this was not that Kevin Durant didn't play. It was the fact that they acted like they didn't give a shit. Okay, they did what they did tonight. for the first time really since Christmas Day, what they were supposed to do. Okay? They didn't let the Kevin go. They always not here and take the foot off the gas. They're like, we're going to throttle these guys. It's going to be over in the first quarter. And it was.
They did what they should have done to the Knicks.
They did what they should have done to the Knicks.
And the Magic.
Yeah, 3 times.
And who was the team before the Knicks?
It was Miami, but they were missing. Miami, they only lost by 3.
That's true.
That's not a bad loss.
They were missing Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, they were missing Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, the Time Lord. They were missing 3 starters. And Brogdon.
What they should have done to the Knicks and Magic.
Yeah.
Can we agree on that?
I totally agree on that.
Okay.
So good for them. The Bruins are playing the Maple Leafs, who are second in their conference, and it's 4-2 Boston, and it's on the road. So they had a bad weekend. The Bruins lost 3 in a row, by the way, for the first time all season. And they came out tonight against a very good team on their ice. And are decisively winning. So, okay, we know they can handle some adversity because they did. 3 games in a row is adversity when you're 38-7. So, because they were 38-4. So think about that. I mean, but anyway.
Yeah, they're right on their heels.
Don't look in that rearview mirror. It's like, you know what you're going to see? Nothing. Okay, so.
How many times have you lost?
Oh, God. But they're the thing is, it started when ESPN started broadcasting them. This historic run, and whenever Mike Greenberg starts talking about something good, he jinxes the shit out of it. If there was a degree in a jinx, he'd be a master's. He'd be hosting a seminar.
Were they talking about it on Get Up or something?
Mike Greenberg was the first one who started openly talking about the Boston Bruins. And he was doing it, I'm like, oh, God, here we go. And I had no idea they were going to lose 3 in a row in like 4 days or whatever it was.
So it was Greeny's fault.
But I blame
You're telling me it was Greeny's fault.
The fan in me is telling you that. The person with a brain between us is going, that has nothing to do with it. Okay.
I like that.
But I'm just like, what the fuck? Because you know what? Every time this happens, Tom Brady against the Cowboys, Tom Brady has never thrown a pick in the room. Bang, he throws a pick. And Joe Buck, whatever his name is.
This guy hasn't missed a kick within 40 yards in 17 years. Boom.
Yeah, Joe Buck would be the valedictorian at that graduation ceremony for bad luck people. Anyway,
it's really every announcer.
Yeah, but Joe Buck
because what happens is a situation comes up, and the stats people just feed them.
They do.
Oh, this is the first time this has happened since it's like
they do. You're right, and but God, does Joe Buck excel at it or what?
He does.
He really does. Him and Chris Collinsworth is another one. Oh my God, Sukin. The second he says something about something that's of any kind of, the next thing's going to destroy it. The next fucking play on that field usually destroys it. So it's like, wow. Chris, you have a gift. You definitely have a gift.
Speaking of announcers really quick.
Yes.
Romo has gotten better. I don't like him as an announcer, but I was listening to some old clips of him.
I thought he was always good.
No, dude.
You thought he was terrible in the beginning?
Yes.
Really?
Not because he didn't know football and what he was saying was inaccurate. His style. Okay. So he would literally try.
Wait, he has one now?
No, he would try to call the play before it happened.
Yeah, he was cocky. He made me look.
He would say, yeah, he was like you. Like he would be like,
I wouldn't do that on national TV.
Well,
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen right now.
No, I mean, also you're not Tony. You don't have the knowledge of the game that.
No,
Romo
I don't. He
does.
actually has more than
right.
that. Yeah, he does.
So, I mean, what he would even draw on the screen sometimes and say, "Look for the tight end over the top here with the pressure coming in. I think that's where they'll go." Yeah. Like he'd try to get it in really quick right before the ball was hiked.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a run off the left side. He'd be going high pitch yell right before the ball was snapped.
Yeah.
And then that's what would happen. And it's like, dude, you are not a color predictor. You are a color commentator.
Ooh, that's Thomas.
Allow the play to happen.
You sound like Mike and the Mad Dog.
And then make a comment on it. Don't predict it.
That was impressive.
I want to see it unfold, and I want you to tell me why it happened.
That was a fine soliloquy. I must say.
Was it?
Yeah, especially when you took. Ooh, what you do with those words? I was like, damn.
The color predictor versus the color.
Oh, dude, that was money. That was the money line right there.
Don't predict the plays.
But the way you worded it was beautiful.
Yes.
So the bottom line is
Well, let's get back to Tom Brady.
Today is Tom Brady Day, and the funny thing is, 1 year ago today he retired, and people are giving him shit about this. And what they didn't realize, and what they should have realized when the divorce happened, was he didn't want to retire the first time. She forced him to do it, or he bent to her when he wasn't ready to do it yet. Tom Brady said, and he's heard me say this ad nauseum, and Teddy Bruschi's brought it up on ESPN today, confirming I wasn't a nut job. Okay, Tom Brady has talked for decades. 2005, as far back as that we know of him, talking about playing till he was 45. All this son of a bitch did was live up to his fucking word. And then when he retired today, it was 53 seconds long. It wasn't a drawn out, give me all the, it was, he didn't wait for the offseason to start. He didn't want these teams waiting around to see what he's going to do, like the 49ers or whoever they were pointing him with. Okay, he didn't fuck around. He didn't play mind games. He did what he always did. He stuck to his guns. He came all in here. This is who he is, in here and here. This is Tom Brady right there. And today, he was consistent with that like he has been for the past 23 years. And when I mean consistent, boys and girls, if you look up consistent dictionary, Tom Brady's picture is probably there right now. And it should be. Because everything that man did, he consistently got better at it. Literally until he was 45. And at the age of 45, when everyone thought he stunk, he was third in the NFL in passing yards. He set a record, 2 records, attempts and completions, okay? And I might add, he had 4 fourth quarter comeback wins. In a year, he stunk. If that doesn't tell you where this man is, okay?
Dude, and you got people on ESPN saying no one would want him as their QB next year.
That's just because they're thinking long term. They're not thinking one and done scenario. In the case of the 49ers, they ought to be, because the Niners, the one that holds them back is either a quarterback or injuries to quarterback.
Niners, Raiders, Jets. I mean, the list continues to go on.
I think the Jets would like
Texans.
Tom Brady with that running back and those receivers. Yeah, I think and that defense. Yeah, I think the Jets would love to stick it to the Patriots. But Tom Brady would never do that to Robert Kraft. He's like a father to him.
Somebody said, is Brady retiring just to stick it to the Jets one more time?
One more time, right? Yeah.
Not coming there, baby.
No. I mean, look, the thing is this, and to be fair, I've given Tom shit about not understanding why I have the passion I do for this guy or Larry Bird or Marvin Hagler or guys like that. I have been very, very, very fucking blessed as a sports fan. If you're lucky in your life, you get one guy like this. If you're lucky. I arguably have 4, and they're in each fucking sport. Okay? Literally. No, 3 or 4 or 5. I have...
Who's your baseball one?
I have... It's David. It's Poppy. It's Poppy. Oh, yeah. It was Poppy. I mean, when they talk about...
He was a beast.
Oh, my God. Poppy helped end this ridiculous, overthought-out curse, but it was 86 years. Drought. I call it a drought, okay? He ended all that, part of the greatest comeback maybe in sports history, that down 0-3 to the Yankees. The Yankees, they had lost Game 3 19-8, and Kevin Millar is telling the Boston media, they better not let us win tomorrow.
Best comeback ever.
I was like, and Kevin Millar called it. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. And
Best comeback
Big
ever.
Poppy was right in the middle of that.
One of the greatest sports moments ever.
Yeah, I don't know if him and Manny Ramirez will ever get the credit for the 1-2 punch that they were. They were all-time great, the two of them. They really were. And but Tom Brady, for 23 years, that is a generation, boys and girls, gave me something I never thought was possible. Because before Tom Brady and Drew, really, if I'm going to start back with Drew Bledsoe and Parcells, the Patriots were the doormat of this league, of this sport. I know that because I have 2 brothers, one in front, one in back. One is a Steelers fan, one is a Cowboys fan. Now picture growing up in that household as a sports fan for a minute, and your fan base is not one of them 2, but 2 brothers at a very young age hopped on the bandwagon and stayed with it. Well, they root for every other Boston sports team. They don't root for the Patriots.
So what was the difference between Brady with that?
I was the Patriot fan, and my entire life.
But I'm saying
entire life, I would already have to watch them on TV. When we got them on TV, because they suck so bad.
I'm saying why?
Why? Because my 2 brothers would for 27 years busted my chops about this team and how their teams were always far superior.
No. I'm saying, why did you pick them, but they picked somebody else? Take me back.
My mother claims it's the pajamas. There's a picture of the 3 of us as little kids with pajamas. And Mark has Pittsburgh, and I have New England.
So they bought you New England?
Yep. And they got the other 2. See, I think they asked for it. Because why would my dad pick those 2 just randomly when his best friend played for the Patriots? Okay, give me a break. So anyway, so I questioned he said Tony Romo knows more than me. General football knowledge, no. As a quarterback, offense, yes. But anyway, because I had a
Tony Romo knows more football than you.
Oh, he doesn't, because he didn't see football back then. He sees it now. He sees it one way. So
I'll take an NFL quarterback's knowledge.
I'm saying as an offense, he knows offense way better than I do. That's one thing.
And I'm saying defense.
I'm saying general football knowledge, though.
I
mean,
think he has
historical
more than
perspective, all that stuff. He doesn't know any more than me. That
okay,
man.
historical perspective.
That's general football knowledge.
No.
To have general knowledge of anything,
I'm talking about
history.
X's and O's of the
No, I just admitted to that.
That's all I'm talking about.
So, but anyway, the point is that for the past 23 years, since the time I was a kid, Tom Brady has, by himself, not only has he evened the score for me and my two brothers, he wiped his ass with both their franchises.
Evened?
He more than evened it. I never thought I'd see the Patriots win one Super Bowl. Never. I never thought they'd win one. They won 6. Okay, that's fucking
in a 20-year span.
In a 19-year span where there's free agency and you can't hold on. You can't hold on to players. The one constant in that, with two constants, were Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Okay, and today is not a day to smear Belichick because Belichick wrote a very nice tribute today for Tom Brady. I'll show him that later.
Did he?
He did, and so did Robert Kraft. It was classy.
You know what you've just described, though?
So,
you know what you've just described? Okay, so.
No, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Oh, yeah. In society, there's a lot of talk about white privilege and the privilege that comes with having white skin. Okay?
Yes. And it's still true.
It is true. Now, what you're describing is sports privilege.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to say,
I know, I'm making a joke. It's not really a funny thing, but seriously, that is a privileged ass sports.
Are you kidding me? If you think about this.
To have that kind of run with the Red Sox.
If you think about my life, how lucky I've been. I have had, this is what I was alluding to. When I was saying I was spoiled and I should be apologizing for it.
Red Sox won 4 in the last 20, right?
Listen to me. Here's the thing. What I was trying to say was, if you're a fan, I think every real sports fan deserves one athlete like this in their lifetime. One guy or girl or whoever.
It better happen soon.
Well, I'm saying, this could still happen for you. You don't know when it's going to happen. Okay, but the bottom line is, I had
Eli.
Yeah, but when I roll off this list, you're not going to put Eli in this list.
I'm kidding.
Okay, well, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
He gave me 2.
He gave you 2, and he's going to the Hall of Fame.
He gave me 2.
And he was a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He gave me 2 against the GOAT.
Yes, he did.
And I know he wasn't playing the GOAT. He wasn't playing against Tom Brady, but he still did that.
No, but the funny thing is, we'll get into that later because there's a stat I'm going to bring up.
I want to talk about that.
We will, and we're going to. But the bottom line is this. I have had the privilege of, I say every real sports, if you're ever like one of us, me or him, you deserve at least one of these. I've got 4 of them. Potentially 5 if the guy behind me gets a second Stanley Cup. In my lifetime.
Is that Bergeron?
Yeah, Bergeron. They should rename the Selke Award after him. He's won it the most times. He's been to 10-time finals. He's won it 5 times. So that means the best two-way forward in hockey.
He's been to how many finals?
He's been to 10 finalists. Down to him and one other guy. He's won it 5 times. He owns the record for the Selke Award. The best two-way forward in hockey. He's won it 5 times. They need to change the name of the award. And if he wins the Stanley Cup this year, they just might do it. But anyway, the bottom line is he could be number 5. But in no particular order, marvelous Marvin Hagler, who held the middleweight crown, undisputed for 7 years, 65 fights. Now, Tom didn't box. I did, so I get him. But this man in 65 fights never went to the canvas once. Let's think about this. In just in our lifetime, Mike Tyson knocked out. Muhammad Ali before us knocked out. Considered by many of the greatest of all time. George Foreman, okay? Joe Frazier. All these guys. Marvelous Marvin, not one. He was in this, and think about this. Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran. These are the guys he got in the ring.
Who fought those guys?
He beat 2 of them. Okay, and the Leonard thing was a split decision that he lost, which was bullshit. The bottom line is, in 65 fights, he never hit the ground once. He was 62, 2-1.
He only got beat by points.
He only got beat by points. He never even stumbled in 65. And the fight with Hearns, you go watch. I keep telling him the greatest 3 rounds of boxing history. You have to be a boxing fan. You put this on, you'll watch this again. These are 2 men, and one of them was 6'3", by the way, and it wasn't Marvin Hagler. It was Thomas Hearns trying to kill each other.
How big was Marvin Hagler?
5'10", maybe 5'9".
Jeez.
Yeah. When you see this, you gotta go. When you Google this, you'll be like, "This is the greatest 3 rounds of boxing I'll ever seen in my life."
Remember Bo Holyfield?
Yep, that was a great. They were huge.
They were monsters.
Thomas Hearns was taller than Holyfield. Thomas was 6'3", but he's like 160.
What was Bo? Bo was bigger than that.
Bo was 6'4", but he was big. But Holyfield's only 6'2", so Hearns was bigger than Holyfield. And hey, that's you want to. But anyway, him, Larry Bird, okay, Larry Bird, who in a decade with Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dr. J, Hakeem Olajuwon, Okay, Charles Barkley, he won 3 consecutive MVP. 3 in a row.
Oh, 3 MVPs
in a row.
How many chips?
3 chips in that decade.
Wow.
And he lost in 2 other finals when the Celtics were injured. Okay, and they tried to play. And 87 was the worst.
He won the MVP 3 years in a row.
He's only the third 3 years in a row. The league MVP.
I didn't realize.
Only 2 other men have done this: Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. Bird was the last to do it. And Djokovic is on the verge of doing it this year, but if Jason Tatum and the Celtics finish with their record, I think he'll get it. But Djokovic is 1 assist shy of averaging a triple-double right now. Djokovic.
1 assist?
1 assist shy.
Wow. That's impressive.
Early prediction. NBA World Champions, Denver Nuggets. Anyway.
That'd be interesting.
Enough of the bad stuff. Tom Brady, though, so Larry Bird, David Ortiz, Big Papi.
4 championships.
In the last,
Ridiculous.
And then, just now today, Tomwood, Patrick, Edric, Brady, whatever the hell his name is. Okay, Go. That's his name. Go.
It is Go.
It's Go. So Tom, being Tom, when I posted this, put a little, because he couldn't help himself, a little New Yorker.
It popped up on my Twitter. It popped up on my Twitter.
Yes, it popped up on your Twitter, but it didn't just pop up on our feed.
It didn't.
You took it and put it in the feed. Just a little.
I was breaking your balls.
Yeah, I know you were. As I wrote, "Fuck off, Tom." Yeah. My response was perfect, by the way. It was a very quick "fuck off, Tom," and left it.
So I sent him a meme I found on Twitter. And it was Eli Manning holding up 2 Super Bowl trophies, and it said, "Thanks for the memories, Tom."
Yes.
It was kind of funny.
Any other day, it would have been funny. Today was not.
Oh, did it piss you off?
Did it? No, it didn't. I was supposed to. I just kind of looked at it like, well, that's Tom. And I was sad, so I couldn't even get mad at him. But I was like, that's he didn't mean no ill harm, but it was just a jab. But I
usually don't do stuff.
I was just like, wow, today, huh? 364 days, and you picked this one. But anyway, the bottom line is, and again, when he did that, I was right. Of ESPN, this is how big this was. ESPN's programming went right out the fucking window because everything they were going to do, every topic they had went flush. Even NBA Today had a segment on Tom Brady today. Okay, everything on ESPN went because they knew, because Teddy Bruschi and Damon Woody are in the yes I do. Damon Woody are in the building. They're both telling him he's serious. This is over. This is over. It's done. He's not coming back. No, it doesn't matter what people are. No shot. It's over. And when Teddy Bruschi and Damon Woody say that about they both got rings with this guy. Damon's got 2, Teddy's got 3.
You want some more orange?
Is there? Did we? Yeah, a little more orange. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? You're gonna have another one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, when those 2 did that, that's when it hit me that this was over. And then I watched it because they opened their mouth before they put the feed on there, and when I saw his face, yep. And it was hard for me to watch because.
Did you cry?
Not close. Not yet.
You didn't cry?
Not yet. I was close.
Did you tear?
I did. I got misty-eyed.
You got watery-eyed?
Misty-eyed.
Wow. Like when
you see the video,
when he choked up.
Here's the problem. He chokes up, and then they don't end there. They go right to Teddy Bruschi, who's choking up because he's seen it for the first time, and he played with the guy. So I'm just like,
Bruschi was choked up.
Yeah, Bruschi was like Bruschi's like he was choked up. That's when I was like, oh fuck. Because Bruschi, when they did Teddy Bruschi's book after he was a stroke survivor, Tom Brady did the forward. They're very did the forward for Teddy Bruschi's book.
Brody?
Yep. And everybody loved Bruschi. Teddy Bruschi was one of the consummate team middle linebacker. He was awesome. Anyway, and him and Brady are very good friends to this day. And he was saying that's my friend. I love you, buddy, and I can't wait to you could see he was fighting it back. Damian Woody, dare I say, got close.
Did he?
Yeah. The story Damon Woody tells. This is priceless. So right before all the Super Bowls start, actually in the midst of that 2001 run, what the offensive linemen would always do on Thursday nights is go out for dinner and drinks, which meant they'd slam beers every Thursday night. Brady would always go with them. And Damon Woody tells the story of the first time Tom showed up, we all laughed, and we tried to order him like a spritzer and a wine. And Tom Brady took the first beer and chugged it like it was nothing. He goes, he drank us all under the table that night, including me. And Max Kellerman's going, you got to be ashamed of yourself.
These guys are 330
Yeah, he's like, look at the sheer mass. It's impossible. He goes, I'm telling you, he drank all of us. You ask any one of the linemen, he outdrank all of us. And he's like, he was a regular guy. And that's what everybody, Louis Riddick, who I love Louis Riddick goes, you know why everybody loves Tom Brady, even the ones that hate him? Because he was a 6th-round draft pick. He wasn't the anointed one. It wasn't set up for him to win.
He wasn't the golden boy.
He worked his way up and literally earned everything he got. And then he stayed humble about it. When he could have been a dick and went, okay, he didn't do that. He tells this kid who what do we do about people that hate us? And the kid goes, what do you do, Mr. Brady? He goes, we love him anyway. That was a Super Bowl press day on Tuesday. This kid came up, got to ask Tom Brady his hero question, and she's like, "What do you do when people?" He goes, "What do I do about haters?" He goes, "I love them anyway." That's what we do.
You know what my favorite question that Tom Brady asked ever was?
What?
Because it kind of reminded me of his retirement today. Remember when that kid asked him? He said, "Who's your hero?" And he's like, "That's a good question."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I guess I'd have to say my dad."
Yeah.
And then
he teared up
when he starts going for the next question.
He couldn't answer.
When he starts to go on about it, he chokes up and he stops and he goes, "My dad."
My dad.
And he's got he's got tears in his eyes. I was like, that was a good moment. That was a great moment.
Herm Edwards calls him Captain America. And,
no, that's David Wright. That's David Wright.
And I know it's David Wright, but that's Herm's name for him. But anyway, and then of course, because he did this twice in a year, and he poked fun at himself on the video. He says, "Look, but he didn't want to retire last year." And I kept saying, this doesn't feel, and by the way, no one that was close to him said this, this is not right. They knew something was wrong. He didn't want to do this. He felt it was done against his will. It was probably done to appease her. And he probably looked at her and goes, "You know what? I had a promise. I made a promise to myself before I met you. I was going to play till I was 45. I'm in the last year of that contract. It's over after this. Win, lose, or draw, it's over." Yeah. I have a feeling this conversation happened and Gisele's just had enough.
Dude, but there's no way their marriage ended because of that. Obviously,
I sure as hell hope not.
Obviously.
Because if that's what it was, well...
they were having problems.
Look, marriages have problems.
That must have been what it was.
Yeah, I mean, but people keep saying that she was always on him about retiring, and literally from the time they got married, she was on him about retiring. It would come up every fucking year, literally every fucking year. It was like, Gisele.
Well, dude, you look at J.J. Watt.
He's
mid-30s. Yeah, he just retired.
Troy Aikman, 34.
Right.
I mean, these guys, and they had these concussions, and he hasn't suffered that. He had a season-ending knee surgery, but he hadn't had anything to the head. Knock on wood.
God, he stayed healthy all his.
Well, he knew how to protect himself. This is part of his greatness.
He also always had a pretty solid offensive line.
He did, and when he could take a hit. He was tough. Yeah, Michael Strahan, of all people, actually tells the story. And actually, two people told it. You know who Chris Canty is? He played for the Chris Canty.
UVA.
Chris Canty is bigger than Michael Strahan. He
was a D tackle for the Giants. Played at UVA.
Yeah, he's 6'9". Okay.
And thick as fuck.
He told the story today of when he gained full respect for Tom Brady. It was in the 07 season when the Pats were in the midst of their run to go 16-0, and the Cowboys were undefeated. And they came into Texas Stadium, and the Pats.
Canty was on the Cowboys.
Canty was on the Cowboys, and Canty came free on a play, and he said, "I hit Tom Brady harder than I've ever hit another human being in my life." And I went back because you knock out Tom the GOAT. You at the time we thought he might be the GOAT anyway, and I got a shot at it. I got a free shot at it. There was a mixed pickup. I didn't get no one even touched me. We didn't clean, and I put this guy. I thought I killed him, and I'm back there. Yeah, he's out of the game. He's done. And then one of my teammates tapped me on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, look, man." And I turn around, and Brady gets up, does one of these, looks at me and nods, and goes back to the fucking huddle. At that moment, everything about Tom Brady changed for me. He's like, "I thought I killed him. I hit him with a clean. I thought he was dead." He got up, nodded and went back to the huddle, and then proceeded to kick our ass. 48-27 was that score, by the way. He threw 5 touchdowns. And the Cowboys were undefeated when he did this to them. And he did it on their field. Anyway, that was his story. So,
well, I remember in the 07 Super Bowl when, after the Giants scored and Patriots had, under a minute to score.
Yeah.
And he got sacked by Jay Alford, I think it was, right up the middle, boom! Dude, and it was back when you could drive the quarterback.
Yeah, you could still hit him. They hadn't done all this other shit. Yeah.
He literally gets fucking decleated, boom, and then planted. And as he lands, he's like this.
Yep.
He just took a shot from a deep tackle.
Should have been out cold.
And he's has the presence of mind to go, "We need timeout right now." I gained a lot of respect for him then. And I'll just say this, and it might come across as a dick, but the Giants beating them in 2007 allowed me not to hate Brady for his whole career, which I appreciate now. Because when you, the Yankees, I always hated the Yankees growing up as a Mets fan until the Red Sox beat them. Once the Red Sox beat them and you see they're vulnerable just like everybody else, it kind of like, for me anyway, as a sports fan, it humanizes the evil empire.
Yeah.
And when the Giants beat them, that's what it did for me. I never had any kind of like hate in my heart for the Patriots anymore after that, because it's like, all right, they don't win every year.
No, well, as one New York fan said to me, because I got a bunch of texts today, obviously, because what happened. And one of my New York college buddies said to me today, he said, you know, and he's a Giants fan like you.
Really?
And he said, you know, I always knew he was great, but looking back, I didn't realize how great he was, because if it wasn't for us, he'd have 9 Super Bowls, not 7. And the way he said it was like, it doesn't even matter that we beat him twice because he's got 7 fucking Super Bowls. It's like, we kept him from 9. Just the way he said it. And you know what?
Was he saying it to be a dick?
No, he wasn't. He was really
to me,
like.
that sounds like he's pulling his penis out.
He's trying to. Do you understand how great this guy was?
I do.
Because if you think about those 2 games, they could have. The Patriots could have easily won both those games. They were one.
They were one-play games.
They were one-play games.
Like the
literally
game shifted
one
on
play.
one play.
One play. Like if Asante Samuel drops a short pick, David Tyree has a ball glued to his helmet somehow. Think about what happened.
Wes Welker drops
one in the seam that would have ended that. And
Eli Manning throws a fucking
the most perfect pass
through a fucking, what do you call it?
Arguably the greatest throw in Super Bowl history.
I would
arguably. It's in there. It's
in terms of location of pass. Catch on the side. I mean,
they couldn't have covered it any better if they raped him.
No.
And he made a great catch, and Eli made the perfect throw. That throw, I believe, got Eli in the Hall of Fame.
Probably the best.
Between me and you, I think that throw got him in the
one
Hall
of the best throws I've ever seen.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Period.
I would say that, and I hate
in terms of the moment. And
it wasn't just the moment; it was a perfect fucking pass.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care what the moment was. You know how hard that throw is.
To put the moment on top of that.
Yeah, no,
he do that in a moment like that.
Yeah, no. Listen, he's in the Hall of Fame. He should be. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, just like his brother. And I'm sure they'll be roasting him in the next couple of days. But those 2 love him. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is the other thing about him.
And he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, this is the other
thing.
When
he talks with Eli,
they're like
Eli
brothers.
Says stuff. He's like,
he just laughs at him. Like,
I've got 6.
Yeah, I've got 7.
Right.
I've got 7.
Oh, does he have 7?
Actually, you and you have 7.
So he's got 6 with the pass.
Actually, it gets closer if you and Peyton put yours all together. Like
so
is that 4? That's cute.
Okay. So Tom Brady is 7-3 in the Super Bowl.
7-3 in the fucking Super Bowl. And then Mike and the Mad Dog, by the way, were reunited on First Take.
I didn't get to see it.
Wonderful stuff. But Mike always manages to do. He one episode, one segment when I used to listen to him, he'd always say one thing every day to piss me off. And today he didn't disappoint. Act like he goes,
Francesa?
yeah, Francesa, and I love him.
Constantly says shit.
But I love him. But today he goes, yeah. If you ask me for one game, whether it's Brady or Montana, I'm taking Montana.
Get the fuck.
Because he was 4-0 and he was perfect. Tom Brady.
No, it's because he's old.
Tom Brady made mistakes. I'm like, yeah, but Joe Montana had Jerry Rice.
Francesa's old.
Who's the greatest receiver? Maybe Jerry Rice is the conversation for greatest football player ever. Jerry Rice is. Yeah. He's that fucking good. He's the only man with 200 touchdowns.
He leads the way in his position in such a way.
Like Brady does.
Exactly.
He's Tom Brady. His position. And
he's Tom Brady.
And Montana had him for 2 Super Bowls. Tom Brady had Randy Moss for a year and a half. That's it. He won.
And he didn't even win with Randy.
No, he didn't. He won 3 Super Bowls before he met Gronk. Tom Brady won 3 Super Bowls before the rules changed. So Tom Brady's the one guy we know that won in both eras. Take that one and put it in your pipe and smoke it, Brady haters, because he's the one guy that's on that won in both eras. Multiple. Okay?
I don't care what era he won in. 7-3. You go to 10 Super Bowls. First of all,
10.
You go to,
and the 3 he lost, he could have won.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
by the way, one of those losses he threw for 505.
But also, several of the ones he won, he could have lost.
Well, they even out. I think there were 2 he could have lost. Seattle
and
Atlanta. Those 2. That's it. The other 3 they weren't.
What about the Rams Super Bowl?
They were beating the Rams the whole game.
I thought he had to drive them down the field to win on a field goal.
Yeah, but they led 17-3 going into the 4th quarter, and the Rams came back. That was the greatest show on turf.
But they could have lost that.
They were leading that whole game.
I'm not saying
he wasn't losing.
I'm not saying any of them were fluky. I'm just saying
none of them were fluky.
Basically, all 10 he was in were pretty good games.
You could argue. Well, the second Rams game was kind of boring.
I don't even remember that.
They won 13-3. They're off the Rams offense, which was I'll tell you what, that was Bill Belichick's greatest coaching job. That offense he shut them down. Okay, as a defensive coordinator, that was one of his best performances. That one right there. Anyway, the bottom line is,
Who was the QB at that time?
That was
Was it
Goff.
Bulger?
Goff.
Goff.
Who's having how good was he in Detroit this year?
Oh, it was the
now
Russ
that the dickhead was gone, Patricia. How good was Jared Goff this year? Detroit damn near made the playoffs, for Christ's sake. He was unbelievable. And they're going to be better next year. You watch, Detroit's going to make the playoffs next year. I'm calling that now.
They should.
I'm calling that now. But anyway, the bottom line is, when my friend said that, he was just trying to say, the motherfucker has 7. He was 2 plays away from 9. That's how fucking good he is. That's how great he is. He's there. It's like, it's him, it's Bill Russell, it's Michael Jordan, it's Wayne Gretzky. Francis said, if I had to take one game, I'd take Joe Montana. And I love Joe Montana. I do. I really do.
Great.
He's a class. I love Joe Montana. Notre Dame, my dad, I love Notre Dame. I love Joe Montana. I always love Joe Montana. But for Francesa to say that, he goes, I'm going to throw some oil on this. I'm like, on the day the guy retires, and by the way, Tom Brady is also the only athlete in the 4 major sports to win championships in his 20s, his 30s, and his 40s. Smoke on that. He's the only athlete in all the major sports to win championships in his 20s, and I say plural. He won multiple in each decade of his life. Fucking think about in the one sport that it's the hardest to do.
But he also won Super Bowls in 3 different decades too, right? 2000s, 2010s.
No, it was two decades. No, it was 3 because 2021.
2021.
Was it 2021 or 2019-20? It was 2019-20. Well, 20 would count. 20 would count. But anyway, he won them in his. He won them in 3.
His first year.
Yeah, well, his first year was a start, second year in the league. But anyway, the bottom line.
I'm talking about with Tampa.
Yeah,
that was
the bottom line. If it's 1920, that's technically right because Super Bowl was played in 2020.
There you go.
The bottom line is, I don't think people are going to understand this until all these young whippersnappers miss the mark. Because I got news for you, no one is catching him. Not in my lifetime. Not in yours. Maybe our kids might see somebody do it. Because who knows what the rules will be like then. Yeah. But I can tell you this right now. He's not getting caught in our lifetime. There's just there's no way. There's just no way. No one. And everybody talks about what was his impact on the league. Every player talks about the process now. Tom Brady didn't invent the word process. He just defines it. Okay? He just defines it. And he was on the field for 23 years. That is gone now.
I thought the 76ers invented the word process.
No, Tom Brady is. Because every football player that talks about him talks about the process. And you got to love it's all about the process and the journey. And every day.
I always hate the process.
Well, Tom Brady, at least in the football world, this is what he's most known for.
No doubt.
Everybody, he is the standard. He is literally, Tom Brady walks in a room, everybody's saying he was the coach of the Buccaneers for the last 3 years. That's what everybody's saying.
I feel like he changed the food, like nutrition, the way he... No, I'm sure...
Plyometrics.
I'm sure...
Who the fuck talked about plyometrics for Tom Brady?
Athletes were doing this, I'm sure. But I remember them talking about his diet, how he would have like 3 strawberries.
Oh my God, the shit he would eat.
I mean, yeah...
Avocado ice cream. What the fuck is avocado ice cream?
That sounds good to me.
It does kind of sound good, doesn't it?
I love avocado.
There's got to be a sugar or something sweet in there, though, or it's not really ice cream, is it? It's just frozen avocado.
Well, you could put like some lemon juice, maybe.
True, there's some natural ways to do it. I'm sure Tom Brady did it.
I mean, but I don't know if he would sweeten it with sugar, though. Maybe honey.
What I would say, the thing is that we can't, and I'll give you a number, but I don't know if this quantifies his greatness. The thing is, Tom Brady has a win against every team in the NFL. And there is not a single team in his 23 years that beat him more than half the time. And there was only one that did that.
Who's that?
That was the Denver Broncos. He was 9-9 against them.
What was he against the Giants?
6-3.
2 Super Bowls and then...
One other win. He was 6-3.
Yeah, I think the other win was in the 2nd Super Bowl year.
Yeah. So the bottom line is he was against the team he was 6-3 against them. Okay? And so the Cowboys, who basically acted like they won the Super Bowl because it took them 22 years to beat the fucking guy, they're 1-7 against him. And as I said today on my post, I said Tom Brady turned the self-proclaimed America's team into America's joke. And he did. He did. He laughed at them the way he laughed at another historical franchise, the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was 12-4 against the Steelers, and he won 2 FC championships on their field. Are you fucking kidding me? When did Joe Montana ever do anything like that? And I love Joe Montana. He never fucking went into a team. The one year the Steelers were 15-1, and they went in there and won on their field. Okay?
Who was Joe Montana's nemesis, would you say?
I would say...
Did he have one in the NFC?
This is the other thing. I mean, I'm trying to figure... it's funny you asked that question.
Because you think about Peyton Manning.
Because there were different ones, but none of them really lasted as long as he did. The New York Giants gave him fits. LT in Montana was a great take. Okay.
Yeah, Giants,
So
Niners.
about-
It would be
epic.
like 13-12.
Bill Parcells. Bill Belichick was a defensive coordinator. LT is the greatest defensive player ever, as far as I'm concerned.
Is he like the Tom Brady of linebackers?
He's the Tom Brady of defense.
No,
Because Tom Brady is the Tom Brady of offense. He owns every. If we talk about the records, Tom Brady, we would need a whole other segment for that. We really would. That he owns every meaningful record, both regular and postseason. And this is where Francesa pissed me off. He's trying to tell me that, well, Peyton Manning's the greatest regular season quarterback I've ever seen, and Joe Montana's the greatest postseason. Even though Joe Montana is 19 wins in the postseason behind Tom Brady. Tom Brady has more wins than every franchise but 3, and one of them he played for. Okay, but I'll take Joe Montana and one. Mike Frey. This is where I tell you, he doesn't just piss me off. He swings for the fence. And nobody said that. Like, you understand what this man did? Here's the other problem. Joe Montana wasn't good enough to get to 10 Super Bowls. He was only good enough to get to 4.
Exactly.
Let that sink in for a minute, because even if you go by, this is why I was laughing at people who bring up the Eli thing. I'm like, how many Super Bowls has Eli been to? Well, 2. How many has Tom been to? 10. Shut up.
Yeah, but Eli was 2-0.
Yeah, well, Tom Brady was on one leg in one of them, and Rob Gronkowski, no slouch.
That's the dumbest argument. To
Really?
say, well, this person was undefeated.
If that's true, then why the whole week leading up to the AFC title game was the whole talk about Mahomes' ankle?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying the dumbest argument is when people say, but this person was undefeated in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
When he's gone to more than double that you've won,
it's not even close.
It's not an argument.
It's not even an argument.
Yeah.
And if you put their numbers next to each other, you really start to look at yourself like an asshole.
No, that's why when people say Montana never lost in the Super Bowl,
it's
to your point.
Yeah, it's like
Brady went to 10.
He went to 10 of them. This isn't where, like, if it's LeBron, he goes to 10, he loses 6. Then you might have an argument, okay? Because the problem with LeBron
Still, you got to give LeBron
no,
credit for
he got to
getting
10, and that's something to be said for that. But the guy they're talking about has 6. Actually, if you count Kareem, there's 2 of them that got 6. If you throw in William Fenton Russell, he got 11, okay? So this is why I laugh about this.
Different game.
Yeah, it's an easier game now, okay?
I mean basketball, different game than football.
It is a different game. And this is why I give Tom Brady even more credit. And they brought it up on ESPN. The hardest sport to win a championship in is football, because it's a one-and-done scenario. The other 3 major sports are 4 out of 7. You know what that means? The cream is going to rise to the top.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What Tom Brady did in an era where you can't keep players, it's impossible. What Joe Montana did, you could hold on to everybody. They didn't give a shit. So he had Jerry Rice for the bulk of it. What would Tom Brady have done with Jerry Rice?
Yeah, they weren't playing.
If Tom Brady could win 7 Super Bowls without Jerry Rice, what could he do with Jerry Rice? There's a question for you, Tom. There's a fun one, Mike Francesa.
Probably could have gone 10-0.
Probably would have gone 12-0 with Jerry Rice, okay? I mean, that's the bottom line. So, I mean, Montana had that dude. Gronk might be that dude as a tight end, but he didn't even play in one of the Super Bowls the Patriots won.
That is true.
Okay, so Tom Brady won 4 Super Bowls without Rob Gronkowski. Think about that. Which means there was no Jerry Rice and there was no Gronkowski. Jerry Rice gets flat out. He's the best tight end, wide receiver ever. I think Gronk is because he was also a great blocker. Rob Gronkowski changed your running game. Like, he literally changed it because he would block. He would take out linebackers and defensive ends like it was nothing.
It was enormous.
He was unbelievable, and he knew how to use it. And by the way, he loved it. Travis Kelce couldn't block my mother. And he's a great pass catcher.
He's still one of the greats, though, right?
He is, but people are starting to compare him to Gronkowski like he just played long. Rob Gronkowski technically missed almost half his career to injury.
So how far down do you say Kelce is?
He's in the top 5. If you well,
because I mean, you got.
He's going to have the numbers. He's got
Gronk.
You got Gronk. You got
Tony
Gonzalez,
Antonio Gates,
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
And then look at his numbers.
And then Kelce.
And then probably Kelce. Yeah. I mean, there's also Kellen Winslow. Phenomenal San Diego Chargers. There's a lot. Raymond Berry, with Johnny way back in the day.
I don't know who that is.
Well, Raymond Berry coached the Patriots to their 2nd Super Bowl, but he was Johnny Unitas' tight end. So they start
You
with
think
that.
Mark Andrews could get on that list?
I think he will. When he's said not like he'll be in the top 6 or 7, he'll be there. But Gronkowski is the best run blocking tight end I've ever seen, and he also has the best hands I've ever fucking seen.
Where do you think Aaron Hernandez would have been if he wasn't a murderer?
Talent-wise?
Like, if he had played his whole career.
From a talent-wise perspective, he had been top 10. talent-wise. Now, does that mean he would have put it together on the field? We can talk about Aaron Rodgers till the cows come home. Okay, and Aaron Rodgers is just the latest in the long line QBs at Dan Marino. Okay, I go on and on about the guys that talent-wise. And this is why I laugh with the whole, and maybe will help explain why I love Brady and Larry Bird so much. People think, and not everybody, people think sports is all about who can run the fastest, jump the highest, and who's the strongest. Because those guys generally win. Tom Brady and Larry Bird threw motherfucking monkey wrenches into that theory. Okay? And that's why I love them both the way I do, because they were the common man.
Motherfucking.
If you think about it, and yeah, you could sit there and say, well, Larry Bird was 6'9". Here's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And this is the one that you're going to go, whoa, on this one. This is the nugget of nuggets. When people would ask me about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, I'd say, let me ask you a question. Can you name me one night in Larry Bird's prime when he was the best athlete on the floor?
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
And they said, no. I said, can you name me one night in Michael Jordan's prime when he wasn't? That's why Larry Bird is Larry Bird. He played the game. Because when you can't outrun somebody, and you can't outjump somebody, and you can't physically overpower them, you have to outplay them.
Well, you also have to. You can outskill them.
You have to outskill. Well, skill, yeah, but again,
I mean,
but that's part of outplaying them.
But also, I think isn't part of athleticism skill too?
Skill is developed. Athleticism you're born with. LeBron James was born with.
You can't develop athleticism.
No, you develop. You can train and get better. But I'm saying we talk about God-given talent. Muhammad Ali, by the way, Bo Jackson, athletically, Bo Jackson's the best fucking athlete I've ever seen. Okay. He's faster than Deion Sanders. He ran a 4.140.
Sure.
Okay, he was an all-pro. He was an all-star in two sports.
That's not just given. You got to work to get your body to a point
But the point is,
do that.
the talent, you can't teach talent. You either have that or you don't.
I guess that's
And when you look at it from an athletic standpoint, nobody's putting Larry Bird in that category.
If you look at his body,
that's
and you look at somebody else's body, you go, I'm taking that.
If I had a dime for every night Larry Bird schooled a more talented physically player, I wouldn't be sitting on the beach. I'd own it. Okay? All right, that's the thing. That's how many times Bird did this his entire career. That's why I laugh. Bird couldn't play there. These guys are too athletic. I'm like, really? Did you ever see James Worthy? Did you ever see Dominique fucking Wilkins or Sean fucking Kemp? Okay, or Dr. fucking J. These are the guys he would. These are the guys he would tool. Athletically, he couldn't touch, and actually the greatest quote came from who was it? It was an NBA legend. He goes, "Here's the thing about Bird and Jordan. Michael made you look slow. Larry made you look stupid."
That's a good point.
And this is an NBA guy who played against both of them. Going, look, here's the difference. Michael made you look slow. Larry made you look stupid. That there.
Yeah, because somebody's going, what the hell? Yeah. How'd he do that?
That was Larry Bird, okay? And in this era, him and Magic Johnson would destroy this. But the thing is, he was the common man. Because I'm the common man. You're the common man. Tom Brady, pick number 199. Francesca talked about this all day, how he never got over losing his job at Michigan, even though he thought he earned it. He never lived it down. It obsessed him. He was never going to lose a job. Tom Brady wouldn't even let guys take snaps for him in practice, when there was no way on paper they were going to take his job. He refused in practice to let anyone take a snap. Francesca was bragging about this. And you're going to tell me you take Joe Montana over that fucking guy with one game to save your fucking life? Are you on crack? Yeah. Are you on crack?
All right, I'm going to allow you to romanticize a bit more after you use the restroom.
Well, we're going to break this segment.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, we are. It's 48 minutes. We'll come back with a smaller one. He's going to ask me my favorite Tom Brady moment. I'm going to ask him his. I think I have an idea which one it's going to be. And or two. But it's Wet My Whistle Wednesday. It is a Tom Brady tribute day. There will be a little soliloquy of my own at the end of this. But hey, hey, tomorrow's Thursday.
We're almost to the end.
We're almost the end. Tomorrow's Thursday. So grab a cold one. We'll be on this side very shortly. All right? Boom.